AskReddit by Selfie Queen. What serious mistake did you make when you were a child? Ran away from home and hid in a bush for like 5 hours. Cops were looking all over. Some walked right by me. They only found me because I sneezed. I did not want to get in trouble for something. I can't even remember what it was. But I do know what you did get in trouble for. In 5th grade, as most of the class was allowed to go to the school dance, I mockingly laughed at the kids whose parents didn't allow them to attend the dance. My teacher swiftly pulled me aside and gave me a stern talking to. This was a remarkable circumstance because this was possibly the first time I had ever been reprimanded by a teacher, like ever. Not only that, but it was from one of my all-time favorite teachers, Mr. White. I felt terrible. It was a valuable lesson about not laughing at people who aren't as fortunate as you, and that I had embarrassed myself by acting in that manner. They may already feel bad about not being allowed to go, and I didn't need to be a jerk about it. I realized he was right. I acted like a jerk and I didn't like being a jerk. I remember feeling like I was going to cry, and I think he sensed it too, so he said something like, "The reason I came down on you so hard is because I know you are better than that, so just make sure to do better when you are in a similar situation." That helped. And it's definitely a lesson I have never forgotten. I thought there was melted chocolate in my toy box. It was battery acid. Did not taste great. Gross. I thought that my pet rabbit was hoarding black licorice in her cage. I accidentally pushed my older brother out the window when I was like 5 or 6. Is he okay? Got coerced into sucking the dick of my best friend's elder brother. Multiple times. I think that was just abuse, bro. Was only child, never taught proper rules about roughhousing. Got held down by neighbors in a way that made me uncomfortable, so I started wailing on the kid. He went home crying and his dad came back pissed a half hour later. Was grounded for a month after that, lol, but in my defense I was being sat on and trying to get out and couldn't, so did what I had to do. Wishing that I could be an adult already. I didn't enjoy being a kid or a teenager and wished I was an adult. Now, in my 30s, I do sometimes wish I could be a kid again, but I'm very aware that that's rose-tinted nostalgia, and ultimately, I'm more content with adulthood than I was with childhood. Decided to play with my dad's pocket knife. Promptly sliced my hand open. Me when I was fucking with his fishing poles with 3-pronged lures on them. Where do I start? Lol. My parents told me not to go near my dad's razor or aftershave, as they can kill me, so I tried to shave, ended up cutting my neck badly, and I drank some aftershave, as I was curious as to what dying was like. I was 5 at the time. When I was 10 I climbed onto a 10-foot wall, and fell directly onto the top of my skull. I could feel my neck crumple under the impact. Some kids I knew were watching, and wanted to get help, but I dragged myself up, and somehow managed to get home. I told my dad, and said I needed to go to hospital, and he said, "I don't need to take you to hospital for a doctor to tell me what a feckin' idiot you are." I let my kid do a lot of stuff on his own pretty early, like go to the park, carve stuff with a pocket knife, cross busy intersections. If anyone mentioned it, I would half-jokingly tell them that if he was a complete fucking idiot, I would rather find out sooner rather than later. I put too much worth into my peers' opinions, which made me really unhappy, and they were probably doing too. Never talked to the guys I liked. I was too shy and now I regret it even though I'm still young. Swinging on the door in my underpants. My sister slammed the door shut and there was a lot of blood. Didn't do that again. This is better answered at 2 AM when I'm trying to sleep and can't shut off my brain. I realized that when I was close to the old CRT TV that I felt static. So the dumbest scientist that I was, I put aluminum foil over the screen and then tried to turn on the TV. Had a crack and it never worked again. Wow. Does anyone know the science behind why this happened? I'm so curious. I accidentally set my bed on fire. My couch bed's bottom stuck when I tried to open it, and instead of checking what's wrong, I pulled it out with all my strength. The thing is, I didn't know there was a socket behind, and my parents pushed the couch too close to it, making the bottom stuck under it. This was the reason why I had a hard time opening and closing the couch every day. When I pulled it this time, I yanked the socket out of the wall, causing a fire. As a result, we didn't have electricity for a week in half of the condo, and I had to sleep on a burned couch for years. Whoops. Very early childhood. Me and my brother were chopping on the same tree, him with a machete and me with a small axe. It was a small tree, only about 3 inches in diameter. We were on opposite sides. One or both of us have scars from that poor decision to this day. Parents forgot to pick me up from a track meet, and I spent the night with a hobo I made friends with. Slept under a tarp until the morning. He never did anything inappropriate and helped me find the cops the next day to find my parents. Literally an 8-year-old on Skid Row. All started with, "Hi, I need help, can you help me?" Wow, what ended up happening? Were your parents sorry? Did they get into trouble? Me and my buddy were visiting her new house, which her dad was in the process of building. We decided to play in the pink cotton candy looking stuff. I fantasized about doing this when I'd climb into my attic with my dad. Forbidden cotton candy bath. Brushing my teeth with unfiltered water on a trip to a tropical Asian country. Contracted a tropical disease that left me permanently disabled. Walked in on the parents' doinit. Lol, no one wants that. I never did that but came sort of close to it. Story time. I was a teen, and that day I think there was a 2-hour late start to school. For whatever reason I liked getting ready for school in the master bathroom at the time. So I'm brushing my hair and whatever and kept hearing a noise in my parents' bedroom. Sounded like the bed was moving, like they were getting up or something. I think they were already up earlier that day when I was getting up, but I can't remember. So I was confused, and the noise just kept going and going. And I could hear panting and thought, is someone sick or something, and the panting didn't stop either. So I got more confused and wondered why all that noise wouldn't stop. Then finally it clicked in my head what was going on. I got grossed out and went into the other bathroom. The master bathroom has 2 doors, one to my parents' room and the other to. Put a dead frog at the bottom of my elder sister's bed when I was about 5. She had been mean to me, so I thought it a fair playback. Got into big by parents and had to clean the sheets. Felt the injustice. Deleted. I was playing with incense sticks and a plastic bag, making holes in them as the plastic just melted around it. Went out from the room. Parents heard a noise and rushed in the room to see a nearby object aflame. It almost got our new curtains and I would have burnt the entire building down. BC we were going to leave the house in a minimum. They asked questions but I denied knowing anything about it because I feared getting into huge trouble for it. My mom had a medicine drawer which was a hodgepodge of prescription and over-the-counter medications. I found a box of chocolate and assumed mom had been holding out on me. So, I ate the whole box. It was X-Lax. I almost had to be hospitalized for dehydration. I continued living. I feel this. Thinking being teased was the same as being bullied.